My name is Elena Grace Marlowe. I'm 29 years old, and 3 days before my wedding, my fiancé texted me that he was going to spend the last 2 nights before our big day with his ex-girlfriend for closure. I was at my desk when it came in. Wednesday afternoon, fluorescent lights humming, code open on my screen, my brain halfway between a bug ticket and a daydream about our honeymoon. My phone lit up with a long gray bubble from Brian. The preview alone made my stomach flip. Wedding's still on, but I'm spending the last few nights before with my ex for closure. I clicked it open, thinking surely I was misreading, that my eyes were skipping words. The full message read, "Hey babe, just wanted to be transparent with you. Danielle reached out and we've been talking. She's going through a rough time with her dad's cancer diagnosis and really needs support. I'm going to spend Thursday and Friday night at her place just for closure before our big day. Nothing will happen, I promise. The wedding's still on. Love you, Bree." I read it once, twice, a third time. Every time, the words stayed exactly the same. My brain tried to bargain with reality. Maybe he meant a group of friends. Maybe he meant he'd drop off food. Maybe spend the night with some weird typo. But then I saw the line again. At her place, just for closure. Her, his ex-girlfriend of 4 years. The one he'd sworn he was completely over when we started dating 2 years ago. My heart didn't race. It didn't shatter dramatically. It just went quiet, like someone had opened a window inside my chest and let all the air out. I stared at the text for a full minute, my cursor blinking on my monitor, my coworkers laughing about something in the background. Somewhere in the office, a microwave beeped. Life went on. Mine just shifted slightly off its axis. I typed back, "Do what you need to do." My thumbs hovered over the screen. Every instinct screamed at me to say more, to ask him if he'd lost his mind, to tell him that no sane person spends 2 nights in their ex's apartment for closure right before a wedding. Instead, I hit send. Within seconds, the typing dots appeared. "OMG, you're the best," he replied. "I knew you'd understand. This is why I'm marrying you. You're so mature and secure. Can't wait to call you my wife on Saturday." There it was. He genuinely believed I'd be fine with this. Something in me clicked into place. I put my phone face down on the desk and stared at my monitor. The words of the ticket in front of me blurred. I didn't cry. I didn't storm out. I didn't even respond. I just made a decision. By 2:00 p.m., I'd told my manager I wasn't feeling well and needed to leave early. She gave me a sympathetic look, probably assuming I had a migraine. In a way, I did, just the kind that starts in your soul. Once I was outside, phone in hand, I pulled up my email and the contact list I'd so carefully curated for wedding planning. My first call was the venue. "Hi, this is Elena Marlowe. I have a wedding booked for this Saturday," I said when the coordinator picked up. "I need to cancel it." She sounded stunned. "Oh my. Is everything okay? You'll lose your deposit." "That's fine," I said. My voice sounded eerily calm, like I was reading off a script. "Please cancel everything. The ceremony, the reception, the catering, the flowers, the DJ, all of it." "Are you sure?" she asked gently. "That's nearly—" "I'm sure," I cut in. "Process the cancellation immediately." When we'd booked, Brian had insisted everything go under my name because my credit score was better. At the time, it felt like trust. Now it felt like a loaded gun I suddenly realized was in my hand. My second call was the honeymoon resort in Hawaii. Also canceled. Also non-refundable. I didn't care. My third call was to my best friend Jordan. He picked up on the first ring. "Hey, almost Mrs. Patterson. What's up?" I forwarded him Brian's text. There was a long silence on the line. Finally, Jordan exhaled sharply. "You've got to be kidding me." "He's not," I said. "I already canceled the venue and the honeymoon." "Elena," his voice was careful. "What do you need me to do?" "Just let everyone know the wedding is off," I replied. "I'll handle the rest." By 6:00 p.m., everything was done. Every major vendor either canceled or in the process. I drove straight to the apartment Brian and I shared, walked through the front door like it was any other evening, and started packing. He was still at work, thankfully. I moved swiftly, mechanically, grabbing only what was mine. Clothes, laptop, books, my grandmother's necklace from the top drawer, the mug I loved with the chipped handle he always teased me about. On the kitchen counter, I set down the engagement ring he'd given me. It looked small on the cold marble, the diamond catching the last of the sunset through the window. I stuck a bright yellow note next to it, for closure. Then I walked out. I didn't slam the door. I didn't leave a dramatic letter. I simply locked the door behind me and drove to Jordan's place. The beauty of it all was in the logistics. Brian's friend Gretchen worked as an events assistant at our venue. She wasn't on the schedule that day, but I knew the moment the cancellation hit the system, someone would mention it to her. And Gretchen loved to talk. Jordan and I ordered takeout and camped out on his couch, my phone switched off, his very much on. Okay, he said, scrolling through Instagram. Brian's bachelor party is officially underway. Where? I asked, more out of morbid curiosity than anything. Some rooftop bar downtown. Groom squad shirts, bad sunglasses, the whole thing. He held up his phone to show me Gretchen's story. Brian in a groom mode, on t-shirt, arms slung around his friends, beer in hand, grinning like the world wasn't about to implode. I watched it without flinching. At 9:23 p.m., it started. The venue's after-hours system sent an automated confirmation email about the cancellation to me and to Brian because he'd insisted on being copied on all communications to stay organized. Jordan's thumb flicked to the next story from Gretchen, posted at 9:31. White text on a black background. Emergency. Does anyone know where Elena is? Brian is freaking out. Jordan snorted. Showtime. His phone buzzed, then buzzed again. He glanced down. And here we go. Gretchen. He opened the message thread and read aloud. Is Elena with you? Brian is losing it. The venue just called about a full cancellation. This has to be some kind of mistake, right? Jordan looked at me. Do you want me to ignore this? I shook my head. No, answer. He typed, yeah, she's here, no mistake. There was a long pause, the little typing bubble appearing and disappearing. Then another message from Gretchen. OMG, why is she doing this 2 days before the wedding? Jordan's thumbs flew over the screen. Ask Brian about Danielle. We watched the screen in silence. No response. But we both knew the real explosion had only just begun. Ready for the storm? Jordan asked quietly. I leaned back against the couch, feeling the first vibrations of incoming chaos gathering like distant thunder. For the first time in 2 years, I said, I'm actually ready for something. The storm didn't knock. It kicked the door in. About 20 minutes after Jordan sent, Ask Brian about Danielle, his phone started lighting up like a slot machine. Okay, he said, eyebrows rising. We have movement. He turned the volume up and read Gretchen's next message aloud. You're overreacting and ruining his life over nothing. He's devastated. Danielle is just going through a hard time. Elena is being insane. Tell her to call him and fix this. Jordan raised an eyebrow at me. You want to respond? I shook my head. My chest felt oddly light, like something that had been sitting there for months had finally been lifted. No, let them talk to each other. They're good at that. He typed anyway. Cool story. She's done talking. You should really ask him why his closure required 2 sleepovers with his ex. Radio silence. Then the next wave started. Brian's mom, Helen, somehow got Jordan's number. My screen was off, but he showed me his. 17 missed calls in a row. The voicemail notification dinged over and over. Your former mother-in-law is persistent, he muttered. He put one on speaker. Helen's voice filled the living room, sharp and shrill. This is ridiculous. The wedding is in 3 days. You tell that girl to answer her phone right now. We have family flying in from across the country. She's being a child. Brian did nothing wrong. We're going to sue her for the deposits. Jordan glanced at me. I took a sip of my drink. Everything's in my name, I reminded him quietly. Let them try. He smiled grimly and skipped to the next voicemail. This time, it was Brian's dad, Roger, sounding tired and frustrated. Elena is overreacting, Roger said. She needs to calm down and think rationally. You can't throw away a marriage over a misunderstanding. Talk some sense into her. Misunderstanding. That word made something hot flash through me. Jordan deleted the voicemails without comment. By midnight, Brian himself had started texting Jordan. Man, I need you to talk to her. This is all a misunderstanding. Danielle's dad is really sick. She needed me. Nothing was going to happen. Jordan's thumbs flew. My guy, you literally texted your fiancée that you were going to spend 2 nights at your ex's place. What did you think would happen? There was a pause. Then, it's not like that. Jordan snorted. It's exactly like that. Elena said she was cool with it, Brian insisted. She told me to do what I needed to do. Jordan showed me the screen. You want to weigh in? No, I said. I already did what I needed to do. I slept badly that night, tossing on Jordan's pull-out couch, half expecting someone to pound on the door, half expecting to wake up and realize I'd dreamed all of this. Thursday morning proved I hadn't. I woke up to sunlight sneaking through the blinds and Jordan standing over me with his phone. You're going to want to see this, he said. He handed me his screen. It was Facebook. Brian Patterson had made a public post at 3 a.m. His profile picture, The one of us at the beach, his arm around my shoulders, glared back at me. The post read, "To everyone who was planning to celebrate our wedding this Saturday, it is with a heavy heart that I have to share that the event has been postponed due to Elena's mental health crisis. She's struggling with severe anxiety and paranoia, even making false accusations about me. I love her and I'm committed to standing by her as we get her the help she needs. Please keep her in your prayers." My hands went cold. "He did not just weaponize mental health because he got caught," Jordan muttered. For a moment, words failed me. It wasn't enough that he'd decided 2 nights with his ex were reasonable. Now I was the crazy fiancé with a crisis, so he could save face. I scrolled through the comments. People reacting with shocked emojis, asking if I was okay, promising to pray. Some of his relatives saying things like, "You're such a good man for standing by her." Something inside me hardened. "Two can play at that game," I said quietly. Jordan looked at me. "You sure?" "Very." I opened my own Facebook, took a breath, and wrote, "No mental health crisis, no paranoia, no false accusations. On Wednesday, 3 days before our wedding, Brian informed me he'd be spending Thursday and Friday night at his ex-girlfriend's apartment for closure before marrying me. I wished him well and canceled the wedding. Simple as that." Then I attached the screenshot of his original text, the whole thing, start to finish. The part about Danielle's dad's supposed cancer. The "nothing will happen, I promise. The wedding's still on." And because I was done being polite, I added one more line. "Also, Danielle's dad isn't sick. His public post from yesterday shows him playing in a golf tournament. Do what you will with that information." My thumb hovered for half a second, then I hit post. Within minutes, the comments started pouring in. Shock. Rage. People switching sides in real time. Cousins of his asking, "Brian, is this true?" Old college friends of mine writing, "Good for you, Elena. Proud of you for walking away." It was chaos, but it was honest chaos. For the first time since his text, I felt like my reality wasn't being rewritten without my consent. By Thursday afternoon, the circus got on a bus and came to us. Jordan's phone buzzed again. He checked it and swore softly, "They're here." He pulled up his Ring doorbell app. The live feed loaded, and there they were in the hallway. Brian, in a wrinkled shirt and yesterday's bachelor party hangover. Helen in a structured blazer like she was attending a board meeting. Roger standing stiffly behind them. Gretchen fidgeting near the back. And, unbelievably, Danielle herself. They had actually brought his ex-girlfriend to come convince me to marry him. Helen stepped forward and started pounding on the door. "Elena Grace Marlowe, you open this door right now," she shouted. "We need to discuss this like adults." Jordan tapped the microphone icon. "Hi, Helen," he said cheerfully through the speaker. "Unfortunately, Elena has nothing to discuss with a man who schedules sleepovers with his ex before his wedding." Helen's head snapped toward the camera. "You have no right to get involved in this. This is a family matter." Jordan glanced at me. I nodded. He kept going. "Elena is family," he said. "Or she was about to be until your son decided closure meant 2 nights in another woman's bed." Brian stepped closer to the camera, running a hand through his hair. "Jordan, come on, man. Let me talk to her. She's blowing this out of proportion. We just need to explain." Behind him, Danielle crossed her arms, eyes glassy, but defiant. Jordan tilted his head, voice dripping with disbelief. "Did you seriously bring the woman you were going to spend 2 nights with to convince your fiancé to take you back?" There was a beat of delicious silence. Then Brian tried again. "It wasn't like that." I watched my own face reflected faintly in the TV screen, strangely calm. "What was it like then?" Jordan asked. "Explain not like that." Danielle stepped forward. "I'm going through a lot, okay? My dad—" Jordan cut her off. "Your dad is fine. He posted his handicap from his golf tournament yesterday. Try again." Danielle's jaw clenched. She looked away. Roger tried a different tactic, voice low and coaxing. "Look, we have 150 guests coming. The rehearsal dinner is tomorrow. You can't do this over a text message." "She didn't," Jordan replied. "Brian did." Brian's face twisted. "This is insane. Elena is ruining our lives over nothing." I stood up then, walked closer to the screen, and met his image through the lens, even though he couldn't see me. Jordan spoke for me. "Brian, she's not ruining your life. She just declined to share it with a man who wants a farewell tour with his ex-girlfriend before marriage." Helen's voice rose, shrill and shaking. "We're going to make sure everyone knows what kind of person she really is." "Too late," Jordan said. "She already posted the receipts." They stayed another 10 minutes, alternating between threats and begging. Eventually, building security appeared at the end of the hallway, arms crossed, clearly briefed. Helen huffed, straightened her blazer, and marched toward them. One by one, they filed out of frame. Except Danielle. She lingered for half a second, looking straight into the camera, expression tight, something like guilt flashing in her eyes. Then she turned and followed Brian. Jordan ended the feed and turned to me. "You okay?" I realized I was shaking, but not from fear, from adrenaline, from the weight of a life I'd nearly stepped into, sliding off my shoulders. "I think," I said slowly, "this is the first time in a long time I actually protected myself." That night, Brian went to Danielle's apartment anyway. Jordan showed me the story from Danielle's profile, the edge of his arm around her shoulders, 2 wine glasses on her coffee table, a caption that read, "Sometimes the universe shows you where you're really meant to be." I stared at the screen, then handed the phone back. "That's fine," I said. "Let the universe have him." Friday was supposed to be my rehearsal dinner. Instead, I woke up to the smell of Jordan's terrible attempt at coffee and the ringing of his phone. He glanced at the screen and winced. "The country club," he said. "This should be good." He answered on speaker. "Mr. Marlowe?" a prim, polite voice asked. "This is her friend," Jordan said. "Elena is here." "Oh, wonderful. We're calling because there seems to be a situation." I took the phone from him. "Hello, this is Elena." The woman exhaled with relief. "Ms. Marlowe, your fiancé and his mother are here insisting the rehearsal dinner is still happening tonight. They say that you authorized them to move forward." I closed my eyes, pressing my fingers to the bridge of my nose. The event was canceled yesterday, under my name. I emailed and called to confirm. "You did," the woman said. "We have that on record." But they are quite adamant. There was muffled shouting in the background, unmistakably Helen. "They're now demanding we charge your card," the coordinator added carefully. "We've explained that we cannot, given the cancellation." I actually laughed, a quiet, breathy, disbelieving sound. "No," I said firmly. "Do not charge my card. They may book a new event under their own names, but the original reservation is canceled, and I will not be funding anything." "Thank you, Ms. Marlowe," the woman said, almost gratefully. "We will inform them." There was a louder scream from Helen, then, "Ms. Marlowe," the coordinator whispered. "She's demanding to speak to you." "No, thank you," I replied. "Have a nice day." I hung up. Jordan shook his head slowly. "They're unraveling." "No," I said. "They're revealing." He stared at me, then nodded. "Fair point." By noon, another number was calling Jordan's phone. "Roger again," he muttered. Persistent man. This time I answered. "Elena," he said, voice tight. "I'm at the country club. They're threatening to call the police on Helen and Brian. Is this really what you want?" I looked out the window at the quiet street, the sunlight catching the leaves on the trees. I felt strangely serene. "I want nothing," I said. "I'm just living my life." "You're destroying hers," he snapped. "You're ending everything over." "2 nights," I said softly. "She told you the 2 nights part, didn't she?" Silence. "She posted from Danielle's apartment last night," I added, "after the wedding was canceled." More silence, then a dull, defeated exhale. "I saw," he admitted. "Still think I'm overreacting?" He hung up. Jordan whistled. "You are wielding truth like a sword today." "I'm done carrying someone else's shame," I said. "It's that simple." Friday afternoon became a social media-fueled documentary. Brian's gossip-loving cousin posted videos from the replacement rehearsal dinner Helen insisted on hosting at a mid-tier restaurant after getting kicked out of the country club. 12 people showed up out of 60 invited. The camera panned across the sad gathering. Paper napkins, plastic table vases, Helen's forced smile, and Brian seated next to Danielle like this was their joint celebration. When Brian's sister Diana arrived and saw Danielle, she turned around and left without even removing her coat. Jordan showed me the comments. "Isn't that his ex? Wait, I thought the wedding was canceled?" This feels messy. Messy didn't begin to cover it. But Friday night is what truly cemented my relief. Jordan came into the living room holding his phone like it was radioactive. "Elena," he said, "you need to see this." It was an Instagram Live. Brian. His face filled the screen. Flushed, glossy-eyed, wine-drunk. Behind him, the distinct geometric wall art Gregson had pointed out earlier in the week. Danielle's apartment. He sniffed loudly into the camera. He started, shaking his head. "I want everyone to know the truth." Hundreds of viewers were watching, comments flying by faster than I could read. "I never cheated," Brian slurred. "I just wanted closure. Danielle and I have history. Look, love is complicated. Elena is blowing everything up for nothing." People started commenting. "You're literally at Danielle's house RN? This is wild." "Bro, stop talking." He moved the camera in a panic, trying to hide Danielle's couch, but he was too late. Someone screenshot it instantly. Then another comment appeared. Didn't you say she had a mental health crisis this morning? Brian blinked rapidly, confused. She is. She's crazy. Who cancels a wedding over a text? And then, someone whose fiancé said he was sleeping at his ex's place 2 nights before the wedding. Brian's face crumpled. You don't understand, he mumbled. Danielle and we have a connection. Another voice, slightly off camera, muttered, Stop, babe, you're making it worse. Danielle appeared for half a second, reaching to cover the camera with her hand. The live ended abruptly. Jordan locked his phone and stared at me. Well, he said, that's that. I leaned my head back against the couch, closed my eyes, and exhaled. This is the easiest breakup of my life, I murmured. Saturday morning, I packed a small suitcase and drove 3 hours into the mountains. Clean air, no Wi-Fi, no bachelor party drama leaking into my lungs. When I checked into the resort, the receptionist smiled warmly at me. Are you celebrating anything? She asked. I considered the question. Freedom, I said. I'm celebrating freedom. And for the first time in days, the weight in my chest began to loosen. Saturday. The day I was supposed to walk down an aisle and promise forever to a man who couldn't even promise me the last 48 hours before our wedding. Instead, I woke up in a quiet mountain resort, wrapped in a soft blanket, sunlight warming my face. I breathed in the stillness, pine, cold air, distant birds. It smelled nothing like heartbreak. It smelled like release. Jordan texted me around 10 a.m. Brace yourself, the venue is a circus. I called him immediately. What happened now? He laughed, the kind of laugh that comes from disbelief, not joy. Elena, 30 guests showed up to your wedding. I blinked. What? They're wandering around in formal wear asking where the bridal suite is. Jordan snorted. The venue is hosting a corporate retreat today, so your ex's relatives are wandering through a maze of tech bros doing team-building exercises. I pinched the bridge of my nose. You're joking. I wish, he said. Helen is demanding the venue honor the booking because Elena will come to her senses. The venue called the police. Again. Of course. And Brian? I asked. Oh, he's there, Jordan said. Right next to Danielle. Like they're the ones getting married. There was a pause. And Elena, Danielle's dad showed up. My heart stopped. The one he said had cancer? Oh, yeah, Jordan said. He came because Brian told him he was getting married today. When he learned he'd been used as the excuse for those closure nights, he went nuclear. I sat up straighter. What happened? Jordan cleared his throat, preparing for the performance. He stood in the middle of the venue lobby and shouted, You told people I had cancer to sleep with an engaged woman? I slapped a hand over my mouth to keep from laughing. Then, Jordan continued, he turned to Danielle and said, And you went along with it? I raised you better than this. He called both of them trash. I lost it. Absolutely lost it. I laughed so hard tears spilled onto my cheeks. Jordan wasn't done. Apparently, Helen tried to defend them, and Danielle's dad said, Lady, your son is a liar, and your future daughter-in-law is smarter than all of you. I wheezed. Stop, I can't breathe. Jordan chuckled. I'll send you the video later. Saturday afternoon, the drama found a new stage. My phone buzzed with a message from my old landlord. Hi, Elena. Received notice of Brian attempting to revoke your half of the rent payment arrangement. Reaching out to confirm. I smiled slowly. I'd sent my own notice the day before. I wrote back. Correct. I have moved out. I will not be paying next month's rent. Not 5 minutes later, Brian texted me. It was a photo. A photo of him wearing his tuxedo, standing in my old bedroom, with my former wedding dress laid across the bed behind him. The caption, This could have been our day. I'm at our place if you want to talk. My stomach twisted, not with longing, with relief, with hindsight, with clarity so sharp it felt like glass. I typed back, Check your email. I had sent him a clean, formal message yesterday. Dear Brian, please be informed that I have vacated the premises effective immediately. I will not be contributing to rent going forward. Best, Elena. His response came fast. You can't do this. Did it. Where am I supposed to live? I stared at the message, then typed back. Danielle's couch seems comfortable. He sent 43 voice messages in a row. I played none of them. The weeks that followed looked like emotional confetti, falling in slow motion, drifting everywhere. The fallout was spectacular. Brian and Danielle moved in together, not into some dreamy apartment, not into a fresh start, into Danielle's mother's basement because Brian couldn't keep up with rent on his own. The studio had no windows, and a water stain that looked like a ghost screaming. Jordan sent me photos from a cousin's TikTok. Brian sitting on a futon, Danielle angrily pointing at a slow cooker like it had betrayed her. It would have been sad if it wasn't poetic. But the real earthquake came from Helen and Roger. I didn't reach out, but Diana did. Brian's sister, the only civilized one in that family. She messaged Jordan. Mom and Dad are splitting. It's bad. Dad found out Mom encouraged Brian to spend those nights with Danielle because she thought Danielle came from money. Mom never liked Elena and said Elena wasn't ambitious enough. Dad lost it. Roger eventually emailed me. Elena, I failed as a father. I should have guided Brian better. You showed more integrity in 2 days than he has in years. You dodged a bullet. I'm sorry. Roger. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. Then Danielle's dad reached out. He called the front desk at my office after tracking down my workplace from LinkedIn. When he was transferred to me, he sighed heavily. Miss Marlowe, he said, I apologize for the part my daughter played in all this. I don't know what happened to her, but I want you to know. You did the right thing. His voice cracked. She needs to face consequences, and she will. I thanked him. He didn't owe me anything, but he gave me closure Brian never could. Meanwhile, my life, it got brighter. Work came into focus. I got a promotion. My boss told me, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. Funny how removing a walking crisis from your life improves your productivity. I started rock climbing again, started smiling again, started feeling like myself again. That's where I met Elliot. Warm eyes, steady presence, a good listener who didn't pry. After a few climbs together, we got coffee, then dinner. Then he asked me gently, do you want to take this slow? And for the first time in years, I did. I wanted slow, I wanted safe, I wanted something grounded. He didn't flinch when I told him the story. He didn't laugh cruelly. He didn't pity me. He just said, if my partner did that, I'd cancel the wedding too. And that was that. A week later, I ran into Gretchen by accident at a coffee shop downtown. She froze when she saw me, then rushed forward. Elena, I'm so sorry. I should have told you, she whispered. Brian and Danielle had been texting for months. She bought lingerie for those 2 nights. I tried to warn her, but she said you were too much of a pushover to do anything. I blinked. A pushover. A soft, almost amused smile touched my lips. Well, I said, she miscalculated. Gretchen nodded vigorously. Badly. The final unexpected twist came from an Instagram DM. Danielle's ex-husband. Hey, heard what happened. Just so you know, Danielle cheated on me with 3 different guys during our marriage. She'll do the same to Brian within 6 months. Good luck staying out of the blast radius. I replied with only 3 words. Not my circus. And it wasn't anymore. I was free. As I write this, sitting by the window of my apartment, my own apartment, sunlight spilling onto my desk, I think about every red flag I ignored. The way Brian compared me to Danielle, how he'd hide his phone when she texted just as friends, how he'd say things like, you're lucky I chose you, during arguments, how he always talked about closure like it was a library book he could check out anytime. I think about all of it, and I think about the text message that finally jolted me awake. The wedding I canceled saved me from a life of slow drip betrayal. That text wasn't heartbreak. It was a gift that said, run now while you still can. Run before the vows trap you in a future you don't deserve. So I did, and I never looked back.